Hey guys, tonight we're rolling out under Montana's endless sky, where the highways hum a strange, soothing song at midnight. Picture this, you're behind the wheel of your rig, the cab's warm glow wrapping around you like a blanket, stars punching through the black above like pinholes in a cosmic top. The road stretches out, a ribbon of asphalt that feels alive, vibrating under your tires with a low, hypnotic drone. You're hauling freight across the big sky state, and let me tell you, out here, the night has a way of whispering secrets you won't hear anywhere else. It's a long haul, so settle in though. Honestly, with these lonesome roads, you probably won't survive this without dozing off. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your location and local time. I'm curious where you're chilling tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're cruising along I-94, just past Miles City, the kind of place where the horizon feels like it's daring you to chase it. The air's crisp, sneaking through the cracked window, carrying that faint scent of sagebrush and diesel. Your rig's engine hums steady, a bassline to the night's quiet melody. Out here, Montana's highways have a reputation. Truckers swear they sing at midnight, a low vibration you feel in your bones. It's not just the tires on asphalt, it's something older, like the land itself is exhaling. Back in the 1800s, this stretch was part of the Bozeman Trail, a rugged path for settlers and gold seekers heading west. They'd rumble through in wagon trains, dodging bandits and blizzards, leaving ruts you can still spot if you know where to look. Historians still argue whether the trail's ghosts literal or not linger in the dust, but you're starting to wonder as the road hums louder. Your headlights catch a mile marker, glinting like it's winking at you. You chuckle out here. Even the signs seem to have personality. There is a quirky tidbit truckers pass around. Montana's highways were once surveyed by a guy named Ebenezer, a surveyor who supposedly got lost for 3 days and claimed the stars talked him back to camp. Nobody's sure if he was drunk or just sleep deprived, but his name's on old maps, and drivers still toast Ebenezer's luck when they make it through a rough night. You glance at the dashboard, clock 1:17 a.m., and the hum seems to pulse in time with your heartbeat. It's hypnotic, like the road's trying to lull you into a trance. You shake it off, sipping lukewarm coffee from a thermos that's seen better days. The landscape rolls by, flat and endless, with silhouettes of distant buttes, looking like sleeping giants. You're alone, mostly, except for the occasional deer eyes glowing in the dark, staring like they know something you don't. You've been driving long enough to feel the rhythm of the whole. Shift gears, check mirrors, let the road pull you forward. There's a comfort in it, like the world simplified to just you, the truck, and the night. But that hum, it's persistent, almost musical. You turn down the radio, some old country tune about lost love, to listen closer. It's not mechanical, it's deeper, like the earth's humming a lullaby. You smirk. Maybe it's just the caffeine wearing off, or maybe Montana's got tricks up its sleeve. You pass a sign for Pompey's Pillar, a rock formation where Lewis and Clark scratched their names back in 1806. That's real history, etched in stone, a reminder this land's been carrying travelers for centuries. But there's another story, one the old-timers whisper at truck stops. On moonless nights, the highways here sing because of ancient winds trapped in the plains, funneled through valleys until they vibrate the asphalt. No scientist has proved it, but you feel it now, a low thrum that makes your eyelids heavy. Historians still argue whether it's geology or folklore, but out here, alone, you're leaning toward magic. You crack a window wider, letting the cool air snap you awake, and mutter, "All right, Montana, keep your secrets." The road hums back, like it's laughing. You're rolling west on I-94, the Montana night wrapping you tighter. Stars overhead like scattered salt on a black tablecloth. The hum from the highway, remember that eerie pulse, is fainter now, but something else is prickling your senses. Your CB radio, usually a chatterbox of trucker banter, crackles with static that feels off. You're nearing Billings, the city's faint glow smudging the horizon, but out here, it's just you and the open road. The radio spits a burst of static, then a voice low, garbled, like someone's whispering through a bad connection. You adjust the knob off, expecting to hear a buddy joking about diner food, but it's not that. It's words, fragmented, like shadow. Pass. Wait. You chuckle nervously, probably just some rookie messing with the channel, right? But your gut says otherwise, and out here, your gut's rarely wrong. The CB radio's been a trucker's lifeline since the 1940s, when it exploded as a way for drivers to swap tips on cops and road conditions. By the time the 1970s rolled around, it was the internet of the highways, buzzing with slang and stories. But there's a quirkier tale truckers share over late-night coffee. In Montana, especially near Billings, the CB sometimes picks up ghost channels. Old-timers swear it's drivers from decades past, their voices caught in the airwaves like flies in amber. No one's got proof, but you're fiddling with the dial now, and the static weaves in and out, almost forming sentences. Historians still argue whether these are atmospheric tricks, radio waves bouncing off the ionosphere, or tied to the land's long memory. You glance at the dashboard, the clock glowing 2:03 a.m. The road's empty, save for a distant set of headlights that vanish when you blink. You mutter, "Come on, don't do this to me." The static spikes again, and a clear phrase slips through, "Keep north." You freeze, hand hovering over the mic. Nobody's on this channel you checked. You key the mic anyway, saying, "Who's this?" You got a handle. Silence. Answers, thick and heavy, like the night's holding its breath. You shake your head, telling yourself it's just fatigue playing tricks. Long hauls do that, make you see and hear things that aren't there, or are they? The landscape outside your cab is all shadows now, the plains stretching into darkness like they're swallowing the world. Billings is close, its lights a faint promise of civilization, but you're still deep in the lonesome stretch. You remember a story from a trucker named Rusty, met at a dive bar last year. He swore his CB picked up a woman's voice near this very highway, begging for a ride to a town that doesn't exist anymore. Clear as day, he said, but the map showed nothing. You laughed it off then, but now, with the radio hissing like it's alive, you're not so sure. You turn the volume down, but the static seems to linger in your ears, a ghostly echo. You pass a faded sign for a rest area, its letters barely legible under your headlights. The air's colder now, seeping through the window, carrying a faint whiff of dust and sage. You're tempted to pull over, shake off the weirdness, but the schedule's tight, and stopping feels like giving in to whatever's out there. You crack a joke to yourself. If ghosts are chatting, they owe me airtime, and it eases the tension, but only a little. The road curves gently, and you spot a lone coyote darting across, its eyes flashing in your beams like tiny moons. It's gone before you can blink, leaving you wondering if it was real or just another trick of the night. The CB crackles one last time, softer now, like it's giving up. You don't touch it, letting the silence settle. Montana's got a way of making you feel small, like you're just a speck rolling through its vastness. You think about those settlers again, the ones on the Bozeman Trail from last section. Their wagons creaking under starlight, not so different from this. Maybe their voices are still out here, bouncing through the ether, looking for someone to listen. You smirk, great, now you're a poet. But as the road stretches on, the static fades, and you feel the hum of the highway creeping back, soothing you despite the strangeness. You're not sure what you heard, but you're still rolling, and that's enough for now. You're rolling closer to Bozeman now. The highways hum a steady lullaby under your tires, the quirky laws from earlier still tickling your mind. You spot a neon glow ahead, a diesel diner, its sign flickering like it's on its last legs. You pull into the gravel lot, the crunch under your boots a sharp contrast to the quiet night. The diner's a relic, all chrome and faded red vinyl, smelling of burnt coffee and fried onions as you slide into a booth. The waitress, with an Amitab, reading Darlene, pours you a cup without asking, her smile as worn as the counter. This place feels like a time capsule, and as you sip the scalding brew, you hear snippets of stories from other truckers, their voices weaving into the night's fabric. Diners like this one were born in the 1930s, when the Great Depression pushed folks to open cheap eats for travelers along America's growing highways. They became trucker havens, serving hot meals and hotter gossip. Here in Bozeman, the locals whisper about this diner as ghost stool, a corner seat that creaks like someone else sitting there, even when it's empty. You glance at it, half expecting a spectral trucker to nod back and chuckle. Maybe it's just the springs, or maybe Montana's at it again. Historians still argue whether these diners were cultural hubs or just greasy spoons. But sitting here, with the coffee warming your hands, you feel the weight of 1,000 road stories. Darlene slides a plate of pancakes your way, unordered but welcome, and you mutter, You read minds now. She winks, saying, only the hungry ones. You dig in, the syrup sweet enough to forgive the coffee's sins. The diner's full two other drivers, a guy in a cowboy hat and a kid scribbling in a notebook. You overhear a story from the driver at the counter, talking about a haul through Idaho where his CB picked up a voice singing an old folk tune, clear as day, on a dead channel. It reminds you of those ghostly whispers from Section 2, and you wonder if Montana's airwaves are just built different. You smurred great. Now you're buying into the spooky stuff. The clock above the counter reads for 38 a.m. It's second-hand ticking like it's in no hurry. You think back to your rookie days from Section 4, when diners like this were your lifeline, places to shake off the road's loneliness. You'd sit, nursing coffee, listening to old-timers spin yarns about lost highways and phantom hitchhikes. One story sticks out. A driver swore this very diner served him a slice of pie that tasted like home, only to learn the recipe came from his hometown, 800 miles away. Coincidence? Sure, but out here, coincidences feel like winks from the universe. You take another bite, wondering if these pancakes have their own story. The neon sign buzzes outside, casting a pink glow through the window. You spot a photo on the wall, faded and curled, showing the diner in the 50s, packed with truckers in flat caps. It's a reminder this place has seen more miles than you ever will. You lean back, the booth creaking, and catch Darlene's eye. Heard about the ghost stool? You ask. She shrugs, saying, sit there if you're brave. You laugh, shaking your head. Nope, you're sticking with the living tonight. The highway's hum calls you back, faint through the diner's walls, and you know it's time to roll. You leave a tip, nod to Darlene, and step into the cool night. The diner's stories lingering like the aftertaste of coffee. You're past Billings now, the city's lights fading in your rear view like a dream you're already forgetting. The highway hums beneath you, that strange Montana pulse from earlier, blending with your rig's steady drone. You're headed toward a speck on the map called Hisham, where a crumbling trading post sits off I-9, its weathered sign barely visible in the starlight. You decide to pull over, stretch your legs, and let the night's weirdness remember those ghostly CB whispers. Settle, the lot's empty, just gravel and shadows, with the post's sagging roof looking like it's one storm away from collapse. You step out, boots crunching, the air sharp with the scent of dry grass and old wood. Something about this place feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for you to notice its secrets. Back in the 1870s, trading posts like this one were lifelines for settlers and trappers moving through Montana's wilds. They swapped furs, ammo, and gossip, building hubs where the West's raw edges met. This particular post, locals say, was run by a guy named Amos Finch, who kept a ledger of every traveler. Stories some say it still buried under the floorboards. Then there's the quirky tidbit, truckers share. Amos's ghost supposedly wanders the lot, rearranging pebbles into cryptic patterns. You glance at the ground, half expecting to see a message spelled out, but it's just gravel. You chuckle, ghosts with too much time on their hands. Sounds about right. Historians still argue whether Amos existed or if he's just folklore spun from lonely nights. But standing here, you feel the weight of stories older than your rig. You lean against your truck, the metal cool under your palms, and scan the post's faded facade. The windows are boarded, but one plank's loose, swaying in the breeze like it's beckoning you. You read not dumb enough to go poking around. Last thing you need is a tetanus shot or a run-in with a rack. But the silence is thick, broken only by a distant owl hoot. You pull your jacket tighter, the chill sneaking past your collar. There's a story from a driver you met in Missouri who swore he saw a lantern flicker inside this post at 3 a.m., even though it's been abandoned since the 50s. Like someone was checking stock, he said, eyes wide. You check your watch, 2:47 a.m., and mutter, not tonight, pal. The night's got enough tricks. You walk a slow circle around the lot, boots kicking up dust that glints in your flashlight's beam. The trading post's history feels alive, like the walls could whisper if you listened hard enough. You imagine Amos, if he was real, bartering with fur trappers, maybe slipping them extra coffee for a good tale. You've got your own stories halls through blizzards. Diners with pie worth detouring forbit out here. They feel small against the land's vastness. The stars above are relentless, a million tiny eyes watching your every move. You smirk, thinking if the sky's this nosy, it should chip in for fuel. The thought keeps you grounded as you head back to the cab, the post looming behind you like it's reluctant to let you go. Before climbing in, you pause, scanning the lot one last time. There's a faint scrape, like boots on gravel, but you're alone, or so you tell yourself. You remember that driver's tale again, the lantern, and wonder if Montana's playing its old games. The post's shadow stretches long, pooling around your rig like spilled ink. You shake it off, climbing into the cab, the familiar creak of the seat welcoming you back. The engine rumbles to life, drowning out the night's whispers. As you pull onto I-94, the trading post shrinks in your mirrors, but its weight lingers, like a story you'll tell at the next diner. The highway's hum returns, soft or now, coaxing you forward into the dark. You're back on I-94, the trading post's eerie shadow fading in your rearview as the Montana night stretches wide and quiet. The highway's hum is your companion again, that low, soothing pulse from earlier, blending with the soft rattle of your rig. The prairie sprawls around you, endless and open, stars above like a spilled bag of diamonds. You're headed toward Glendive, but the vastness of the plains pulls your mind back, tugging at memories of your first long haul years ago. That rookie run-overloaded trailer, bad coffee, and a CB radio that wouldn't shut up feels like a lifetime ago. Out here, with nothing but asphalt and sky, the past creeps in, soft and uninvited, like a song you forgot you knew. Back in 1881, these plains were crossed by the Northern Pacific Railway, a steel lifeline that dragged Montana into the modern age, hauling freight and dreamers alike. Tracks still run parallel to I-94 in spots, and you can almost hear the ghost of steam engines chugging alongside. Truckers have their own legend out here. The Prairie Mirror, a quirk where the stars reflect on wet asphalt after rain, making it look like you're driving through the sky. You've never seen it yourself, but tonight's air feels damp, and you're half hoping for a glimpse. Historians still argue whether the railway surveyors got lost in these plains, disoriented by the endless horizon, or if they just drank too much whiskey. Either way, you get it out here. The land plays tricks. Your headlights carve a tunnel through the dark, catching the occasional tumbleweed bouncing across the road like it's late for a meeting. Your shuckle nature's got a sense of humor, tossing obstacles your way just to keep you awake. You remember your first haul, a shaky run from Fargo to Spokane, when you thought every shadow was a deer about to ruin your night. You were green, white-knuckling the wheel, radio blaring to drown out your nerves. Now, the wheel feels like an extension of your hands, and the road's a partner, not an enemy. But that rookie fear, it lingers, a faint echo every time the night gets too quiet, like now. The dashboard clock glows 3:22 a.m., and you sip from your thermos, the coffee bitter but warm. The plains stretch on, so flat you swear you can see the curve of the earth. Do you think about your old trainer, Gus, a grizzled guy with a beard like steel wool? He'd say, "Kid, the road remembers you, even when you forget it." You didn't get it then, but out here, with the stars pressing down, it makes sense. Every mile you've driven, every diner, every Niamis, every sunrise sits in your bones like dust on a dashboard. You smirk, thinking Gus would laugh at you getting all philosophical. "Drive, don't think," he'd grunt. A mile marker flashes by, its reflective paint winking in your beams. You spot a faint shimmer on the asphalt ahead. Could it be the Prairie Mirror? You lean forward, squinting, but it's just a puddle from a passing shower. No starry highway tonight. Still, the idea sticks, like the roads teasing you with possibilities. You remember a story Gus told about a driver who swore he saw his own rig reflected in the stars, like a ghost of himself driving alongside. You glance at your side mirror, half expecting a spectral trailer, and laugh. Too much coffee, not enough sleep. The plains keep rolling, silent but alive, and you feel that hum again, pulling you deeper into the night. You're rolling toward Glendive now, the prairie's endless sprawl giving way to gentle hills as I-90 curves ahead, its asphalt gleaming faintly under your headlights. That highway hum from earlier is softer, almost drowned by the low growl of your rig. But the night's got a new trick. Phantom lights. Out there, just beyond the road's edge, you catch flicker-spell bluish glows that dance and vanish when you try to focus. They're not headlights, not reflections, just there, like fireflies with an attitude problem. You'd blink hard, wondering if it's fatigue, or if Montana's pulling another fast one. The stars above are sharp, no clouds to blame, and the air through your cracked window smells of damp earth and distant pine. In the 1880s, this stretch of I-90 followed trails blazed by gold prospectors, chasing rumors of riches in Montana's hills. Their campfires lit up the night, dots of warmth against the cold, and some say those lights never quite left. Truckers have their own spin, a quirky tale about will-o-wisps that lead drivers off course, luring them toward old mining camps long reclaimed by the earth. You've heard it at truck stops, told have serious over greasy fries. Follow the lights, and you'll find treasure or a one-way ticket to nowhere. Historians still argue whether these glows are methane gassed from old mines or just tired eyes playing tricks. But right now, with another flicker in your peripheral, you're not betting on science. You grip the wheel a little tighter, muttering, not falling for it. Montana. The lights pulse again, faint, like they're teasing you to pull over. You laugh great. Now you're arguing with ghosts. Your CB's quiet since those creepy whispers near Billings, and you're glad for it. One mystery per night is plenty. The road dips, and you spot a sign for Badlands National Park, its cliffs looming in the distance like silent sentinels. The glows seem to cluster there, flickering along the horizon. You remember a driver named Carla, met at a Wyoming diner, who swore she followed a light like these and found an abandoned shack with a rusted gold pan inside. Worthless, she said, but spooky as hell. You check the clock for 05 a.m. and take a swig of coffee, now cold and tasting like regret. The lights keep pace, never closer, never gone. You think back to your first haul, that rookie run from Section 4, when every shadow spooked you. Now, you're calmer, but these glows are testing you. You crack a joke to the empty cab. If you're a ghost, at least chip in for gas. It helps, keeps the unease at bay. The road curves again, and the lights seem to fade, like they're bored of you. You wonder if they're tied to those prospectors, men who left everything for a glint in the dirt. Their desperation feels heavy, like it's soaked into the land. You pass a mile marker, its reflective strip winking like it's in on the joke. The Badlands are closer now, their jagged shapes softening in the pre-dawn dark. You've driven this route before, but never noticed these lights. Maybe it's the hour, or maybe it's Montana, always holding a card up its sleeve. You remember Gus, your old trainer, saying, "The road shows you what it wants, when it wants." You smirk Gus and his cryptic nonsense, but as another faint glow flickers, you wonder if he was onto something. The highway's hum creeps back, soothing despite the strangeness, and you let it pull you forward, the phantom lights fading into the night like a half-forgotten dream. You're cruising past Glendive now, I-90 stretching like a dark ribbon under the Montana sky, the phantom lights from earlier, just a memory flickering in your mind. The highway's hum is steady, lulling you as you roll toward Bozeman, where the rules of the road get quirky. You're used to state law's weight limits, speed traps, but Bozeman's got a reputation for oddball regulations that make truckers scratch their heads. You check your mirrors, half expecting a cop to pop out over a rule you didn't know existed. The air through your window carries a bite, smelling of pine and wet asphalt, and the stars above are starting to blur as dawn creeps closer. Your rig's engine grumbles, a familiar friend keeping you grounded. Back in 1913, Bozeman passed some of the first traffic laws in Montana, taming the chaos of Model Ts and horse-drawn wagons clashing on Main Street. One law still makes truckers chuckle. It is illegal to park your rig within 20 feet of a saloon on a full moon. Nobody knows why, maybe to keep drunk cowboys from hitching rides on your trailer. Truckers swap stories about getting ticketed for lunar parking violations, and you're half tempted to test it just to say you did. Historians still argue whether the rule was a quirky prank or a serious attempt to curb barroom chaos. But out here, with the moon peeking over the horizon, you're not taking chances. You pass a sign for Bozeman, its letters glinting in your headlights like they're winking at you. You laugh. Softly, Montana's got a way of keeping you on your toes. The road dips, and you spot a patrol car tucked behind a billboard, lights off but watching. You ease off the gas, muttering, "Nice try, buddy." Your logbook's clean, but Bozeman's quirks have you double-checking your paperwork. There's a story from a driver named Pete, met at a Missoula truck stop, who swore he got fined for excessive horn use. During a traffic jam apparently, 2 honks is one too many here. You smirk, thinking your horn's safe tonight, unless a deer decides to play chicken. The highway curves through low hills now, the terrain shifting as Bozeman's lights glow faintly ahead. You remember your first haul through here, that rookie run from Section 4, when you misread a wait station sign and sweated bullets waiting for a ticket that never came. Now, you know the drill, but Bozeman's odd rules keep you alert. You sip your coffee, long gone, cold, and spot a faded poster on a fence. No idling over 5 minutes in city limits. You roll your eyes, good luck enforcing that on a winter night when your cab's your only heat. The town's got charm, sure, but it's like it's trying to trip you up for fun. A mile marker flashes by, and you notice the moon, nearly full, casting a silver glow over the fields. You wonder if that saloon law is still on the books, picturing some rookie cop with a flashlight measuring your parking spot. You chuckle, imagine explaining that to dispatch. The road's quiet, save for the hum and the occasional rustle of wind through the grass. You think of Gus, your old trainer from Section 4, who'd say, rules are just stories people agree to follow. Out here, with Bozeman's quirks in the night's strange pulse, you're starting to see the world his way. The hum pulls you forward, soothing despite the oddities, and you roll on, ready for whatever the road throws next. You're rolling closer to Bozeman now. The highways hum a steady lullaby under your tires, the quirky laws from earlier still tickling your mind. You spot a neon glow ahead, a diesel diner, its sign flickering like it's on its last legs. You pull into the gravel lot, the crunch under your boots a sharp contrast to the quiet night. The diner's a relic, all chrome and faded red vinyl, smelling of burnt coffee and fried onions as you slide into a booth. The waitress, with an Amitab, reading Darlene, pours you a cup without asking, her smile as worn as the counter. This place feels like a time capsule, and as you sip the scalding brew, you hear snippets of stories from other truckers, their voices weaving into the night's fabric. Diners like this one were born in the 1930s, when the Great Depression pushed folks to open cheap eats for travelers along America's growing highways. They became trucker havens, serving hot meals and hotter gossip. Here in Bozeman, the locals whisper about this diner as ghost stool, a corner seat that creaks like someone else sitting there, even when it's empty. You glance at it, half expecting a spectral trucker to nod back and chuckle. Maybe it's just the Springs, or maybe Montana's at it again. Historians still argue whether these diners were cultural hubs or just greasy spoons. But sitting here, with the coffee warming your hands, you feel the weight of 1,000 road stories. Darlene slides a plate of pancakes your way, unordered but welcome, and you mutter, "You read minds now." She winks, saying, "Only the hungry ones." You dig in, the syrup sweet enough to forgive the coffee's sins. The diner's full. 2 other drivers, a guy in a cowboy hat, and a kid scribbling in a notebook. You overhear a story from the driver at the counter, talking about a haul through Idaho where his CB picked up a voice singing an old folk tune, clear as day, on a dead channel. It reminds you of those ghostly whispers from Section 2, and you wonder if Montana's airwaves are just built different. You smirk, great, now you're buying into the spooky stuff. The clock above the counter reads for 38 a.m. It's second-hand ticking like it's in no hurry. You think back to your rookie days from Section 4, when diners like this were your lifeline, places to shake off the road's loneliness. You'd sit, nursing coffee, listening to old-timers spin yarns about lost highways and phantom hitchhikes. One story sticks out. A driver swore this very diner served him a slice of pie that tasted like home, only to learn the recipe came from his hometown, 800 miles away. Coincidence? Sure, but out here, coincidences feel like winks from the universe. You take another bite, wondering if these pancakes have their own story. The neon sign buzzes outside, casting a pink glow through the window. You spot a photo on the wall, faded and curled, showing the diner in the 50s, packed with truckers in flat caps. It's a reminder this place has seen more miles than you ever will. You lean back, the booth creaking, and catch Darlene's eye. "Heard about the ghost stool?" you ask. She shrugs, saying, "Sit there if you're brave." You laugh, shaking your head. Nope, you're sticking with the living tonight. The highway's hum calls you back, faint through the diner's walls, and you know it's time to roll. You leave a tip, nod to Darlene, and step into the cool night. The diner's stories lingering like the aftertaste of coffee. You're back on the road, the diner's warm glow shrinking in your mirrors as I-90 carries you west from Bozeman. The highway's hum is softer now, blending with the pre-dawn quiet, and you're headed toward a rest stop near the Crow Reservation. its sign barely visible in the starlight. You pull into the empty lot, the gravel crunching under your tires, and cut the engine. The silence is thick, broken only by a faint wind rustling through the sagebrush. You would step out, boots sinking into the earth, the air sharp with the scent of dust and distant cedar. This place feels different, like it's holding stories older than the highway itself. And as you lean against your rig, you hear whispers of ancient legends from the land around you. The Crow Reservation, home to the people, has been here for centuries, long before I-90 or even the Bozeman Trail from Section 1. In the 1800s, the Crow were renowned horse traders, their camps bustling along these plains, guiding travelers and sometimes outwitting them. Truckers passing through share a quirky tale. At this rest stop, if you listen closely at dawn, you can hear hoofbeats echoing from nowhere, like the Crow's horses still gallop nearby. You tilt your head half expecting to hear it, and chuckle, probably just the wind. But Montana's got your second. Historians still argue whether these sounds are tricks of the landscape, its acoustics, or something tied to the Crow's spiritual legacy. But standing here, you feel the weight of their history. You walk a slow loop around the lot, your flashlight beam dancing across the ground. A faded signboard mentions the Crows' role in the 1876 Battle of Little Bighorn, where their scouts aided Custerby, for he ignored their advice and met his end. The sign's peeling, but it grounds you, reminding you this land remembers its own. You think back to that trading post from Section 3, its ghostly pebbles, and wonder if this rest stop's got its own secrets. A driver you met in Billings once swore he saw a figure in a beaded jacket here, gone when he blinked. You smirk right. Now you're scanning for ghosts like a rookie, spooked on his first haul. The stars are fading now, the sky softening to a deep indigo. You sit on a nearby bench, the wood worn smooth by countless travelers. The air is cool, wrapping around you like a shawl, and you recall a story from an elder at a truck stop years ago. He spoke of the Crow's star stories, how they saw constellations as guides for journeys, not just in life but beyond. You look up, tracing patterns in the sky, and wonder if those stars guided you here tonight. You laugh softly if they did. They owe you for the gas. The thought pulls you back to your rookie days from Section 4, when the road felt like a puzzle you'd never solve. A faint rustle snaps you alerter. Jackrabbit darts across the lot, its eyes glinting in your beam. You mutter, "Easy, buddy, just passing through." The reservation's quiet feels sacred, like you're a guest in someone's home. You think of Darlene's pancakes from the diner in Section 7, how they grounded you. And now this place does the same, but deeper. The hoofbeat legend lingers, and you strain to listen, catching only the wind. Maybe it's enough. You climb back into your cab, the seat creaking like an old friend. The engine rumbles to life, and as you pull onto I-90, the rest stop fades. But its stories cling to you, soft and heavy, like the dawn creeping closer. You're rolling west on I-90, the Crow Reservation's quiet reverence fading in your mirrors as the Montana night shifts toward dawn. The highway climbs now, winding through mountain passes where the air grows thinner, smelling of pine and damp stone. Your headlights carve through the dark, catching flashes of deer eyes glowing like tiny lanterns before they vanish into the trees. The hum of the road is fainter here, muffled by the rugged terrain, but the night feels alive, pulsing with a subtle strangeness. You're deep in the Gallatin Range, where the peaks loom like silent watchers, and every so often you spot a ghostly deer pale, almost translucent, darting across the road. You blink hard, muttering, "Get it together," but your heart's beating just a little faster. In the 1860s, these passes were part of the Montana Gold Rush trails, where prospectors braved narrow paths and grizzly bears for a shot at fortune. The routes were treacherous, and many never made it out. Truckers have a quirky story about these deer. They're said to be spirits of lost miners, guiding drivers through the passes or leading them astray. You've heard it over coffee at truck stops, told with a grin but a wary glance. Historians still argue whether the high number of missing prospectors was due to avalanches or something less explainable, like the land itself swallowing them whole. Tonight, with another pale deer flickering in your beams, you're not sure what to believe. You ease off the gas as the road twists, your rig groaning under the climb. The dashboard clock reads 5:12 a.m., and the sky is turning a bruised purple, hinting at dawn. You remember your first mountain haul, back in Section 4's rookie days, when you white-knuckled every curve, convinced you'd tip over. Now, You lean into the turns, but these ghostly deer are throwing you off. Another one appears, standing stock still in the middle of the road, its eyes locked on yours. You brake gently, waiting, but it's gone in a blink, leaving only a shiver down your spine. You chuckle nervously. Great. Now you're spooked by Bambi's cousin. The pass levels out, and you spot a pull-out ahead, a gravel patch with a view of the valley below. You don't stop, schedules tight, but you imagine parking there, watching the stars fade. You think of that diner from Section 7, Darlene's pancakes grounding you, and wish for that comfort now. A driver named Hank, met in Butte last year, swore he saw a deer like these, lead him to a safe pullout during a blizzard. "Save my hide," he said, though his eyes said he wasn't sure it was just a deer. You smirk if spirits are guiding you. They better know. Regulations. The road dips again, pines crowding closer, their shadows dancing in your lights. The air through your window is sharp, waking you up despite the hour. You recall the crow's star stories from Section 8, how they saw the sky as a map. Maybe these deer are part of that map, markers for a road you can't see. You laugh, softly listen to you, turning folklore into poetry. The highway curves, and another deer flashes by, its form blurring like it's hot. You shake your head, sipping cold coffee, and focus on the road's hum, faint but steady. It pulls you through the pass, the ghostly deer fading into the trees, leaving you alone with the mountains and the promise of dawn. You're out of the Gallatin Pass now, A90 leveling as it snakes toward Butte. The Montana dawn still a whisper on the horizon. The ghostly deer from the last stretch linger in your mind, their pale forms flickering like bad reception, but the road's hum is back, steady and soothing under your tires. You're on a quieter stretch, detouring briefly onto old Route 200, a forgotten ribbon of asphalt that feels like it's been waiting for you. It's narrower, rougher, with crumbling shoulders and faded signs, the kind of road that tells stories of travelers long gone. The air through your window smells of dust and wild grass, and the stars are fading, giving way to a soft gray glow. Something about this route feels heavy, like it's carrying secrets older than your rig. Route 200 was once a main artery for Montana's miners and ranchers in the late 1800s, connecting boomtowns that crumbled when the gold ran dry. It's a shadow of itself now, bypassed by interstates, but truckers know it for its eerie vibe. There's a quirky legend among drivers. If you drive Route 200 at dawn, you might see a wagon train in your mirrors, trailing you for miles before vanishing. You glance at your side mirror, half expecting a ghostly oxen team, and chuck out too many diner stories, messing with your head. Historians still argue whether these sightings are mirages from heat rising off the asphalt, or echoes of the trail as hard history. But out here, alone, you're leaning toward the latter. The road twists, your headlights catching a rusted sign for a ghost town called Garnet. Abandoned since the 1920s, you imagine miners trudging this path, their hopes heavier than their packs. You've driven plenty of forgotten road. Section 4's Prairie Run comes to mind, but this one feels different, like it's watching you. A driver named Lou, met at a Helena truck stop, swore he saw a figure waving from a ditch on Route 200, only to find nothing when he stopped. "Looked like my old man," he said, spooked. You shake your head, muttering, "Keep it together." But the mirror's empty, and the road's quiet, save for the hum that's starting to feel like a friend. Your dashboard clock glows 5:49 a.m., and the coffee in your thermos is sludge now, but you sip it anyway. The landscape is star-crawling hills dotted with sagebrush, no other vehicles in sight. You think of Gus, your trainer from Section 4, who'd say, "Old roads got memories. Kid, don't let 'em drive you." You smirk, easy for him to say. A faint mist curls across the road, and for a second you swear you see shapes in its wheels, maybe, or shadows of a wagon. You blink, and it's gone. You laugh softly, joking to the empty cab. If you're a ghost wagon, you're late for delivery. It breaks the tension, but your eyes keep flicking to the mirrors. A mile marker, barely legible, leans like it's tired of standing. You pass it, the road curving gently, and think of the Crow Reservation from Section 8, its hoofbeat legends. Maybe Route 200 has its own spirits, tied to those miners who never made it home. The hum of the road feels deeper here, vibrating through your seat, and you wonder if it's the asphalt or the land itself talking. You ease into a straight stretch, the mist thinning, and feel the weight of the night lifting. The old route's secrets stay quiet, but they're there, woven into the cracks of the pavement, pulling you forward as dawn creeps closer. You're back on I-90 now, Route 200's ghostly whispers fading as you roll toward Butte, the Montana sky softening to a pale lavender. The highway's hum is steady again, a low drone that syncs with your rig's rhythm. But there's a new sound, a distant rumble, like the earth's clearing its throat. You're nearing the Yellowstone River, its waters hidden in the pre-dawn dark, but you feel its presence, a quiet power running parallel to the road. The air through your window carries a damp chill, smelling of river mud and pine, and the horizon glows faintly, hinting at sunrise. That rumble, though it's not your truck, it's nature, maybe Yellowstone itself, murmuring through the ground, blending with the highway's song. In the 1800s, the Yellowstone River was a lifeline for explorers like Lewis and Clark, who navigated its currents in 1806, naming landmarks and trading with local tribes. Its banks were paths for trappers and traders, long before highways like I-90 existed. Truckers have a quirky tale about this stretch. They say the river's rumble can talk to your rig, making the steering wheel vibrate in sync with its flow. You'll grip the wheel now, feeling a faint tremor, and chuck up probably just a loose bolt. But Montana's got you wondering. Historians still argue whether the river's geological hum, caused by underground springs, influenced early tribal stories of a singing earth. But out here, you're half convinced it's real. The road curves gently, your headlights catching the glint of a river sign, its paint chipped but proud. You think back to those ghostly deer from Section 9, their pale forms darting through the passes, and wonder if the river's got its own spirits. A driver named Sal, met at a Billings diner years ago, swore he heard laughter human, not animal near the Yellowstone at dawn. Like kids playing, he said, though no one was there. You smirk, muttering, hope they're not hitchhiking. The rumble grows louder, a deep bass note under the highway's hum, and you ease off the gas, letting the sound wash over you like a lullaby. Your clock reads 6:23 a.m., the sky now a soft, grey streaked with pink. You sip the last of your coffee, grimacing at its bitter dregs, and recall your rookie days from Section 4, when every strange noise had you checking your mirrors. Now, you lean into the rumble, curious rather than spooked. The river's out there, hidden by willows, its current a steady companion. You imagine Lewis and Clark paddling through, their journals full of wonder and complaints about mosquitoes. You laugh softly if they thought bugs were bad. Try hauling through a Montana summer with a broken AC. The thought grounds you, pulling you back to the present. A mile marker flashes by, and you spot a pull-out ahead, tempting you to stop and listen to the river's song. You keep rolling schedules tight, but the rumble follows, vibrating through your seat. It reminds you of the Crow Reservation's hoofbeats from Section 8, how the land holds on to its stories. Maybe the Yellowstone's rumble is its own tale, woven into the earth's bones. You glance at the horizon, where the first rays of sun glint off distant peaks. The rumble softens, blending with the highway's hum, and you feel a strange peace, like the river's nodding at you as you roll on, carrying its whispers into the coming dawn. You're rolling west on I-90, the Yellowstone River's rumble fading as butts, faint lights speckle the horizon. The highway's hum is your steady companion, a soothing drone under the tires, and the dawn sky glows a soft peach, painting the hills in gentle hues. The air through your window smells of dust and sage, cooled against your face as you settle into the drive. Out here, alone with the road, your mind drifts to the rituals that keep you grounded, those quirky habits every trucker picks up, like talismans against the long haul's loneliness. You pat the dashboard, where a faded photo of your old dog, Rusty, sits, and smile. These little routines, they're what make the miles feel like home. In the 1950s, when trucking boomed post-World War II, drivers started personalizing their rigs with charms dice on mirrors, Sid medals, lucky coin-turning cabs into rolling shrines. Montana truckers have a peculiar ritual, tapping the wheel twice at every county line, said to wake the road for safe passage. You've done it yourself, half joking, ever since a driver in Great Falls told you it saved him from a blown tire. You tap the wheel now, crossing into Silverbow County, and chuckle, better safe than sorry. Right. Historians still argue whether these rituals stem from old stagecoach driver superstitions or just boredom, but out here, they feel like a handshake with the highway. You glance at Rusty's photo, its edges curled from years in the cab. You've got other habits, always eating the same gas station jerky before a long haul, humming a specific Merle Haggard tune when the road gets rough. You think back to that diner in Section 7, Darlene's Pancakes, a ritual of their own, grounding you in the night's strangeness. A driver named Joe, met in Missoula, swore she kept a tiny cactus on her dash, for luck named it Prickly Pete. You laugh softly, muttering, Pete's probably still rolling. Your own rituals. Rusty's photo. The wheel taps feel like threads tying you to every mile you've driven. From Section 4's rookie nerves to now, the clock reads 6:58 a.m. and the sky's brighter, the hills sharp against the dawn. You pass a sign for Butte, its mining scars visible in the distance, a reminder of the town's gritty past. You remember Gus, your trainer from Section 4, who had a ritual of his own, whispering clear roads to the windshield at sunrise. You try it now, voice low, and feel a little foolish, but the road stays empty. So maybe Gus was onto something. You smirk. If he's watching, he's probably laughing. The highway curves, and you spot a lone hawk circling above, its wings catching the first light. It feels like a sign, though you're not sure for what. Your thermos is empty now, but you don't mind. The Don's energy is enough. You think of the Crow Reservation from Section 8, its hoofbeat legends, and wonder if your rituals are just another way to listen to the land. The wheel tap, the photo, the song, they're your map, like the stars for the Crow. A mile marker glints, and you tap the wheel again, just because. The hum of the road weaves through it all, a quiet pulse that feels like it's nodding back. You're not sure if it's luck or habit, but as Butte draws closer, you feel steady, anchored by the small acts that make this rig your own, carrying you through the softening dawn. You're rolling into Butte now, the city's lights twinkling like scattered coins against the dawn sky. I-90 humming beneath you with that familiar Montana pulse. The air through your window carries a faint metallic tense, a nod to the mining scars dotting the hills. You're tired, the long haul settling into your bones, but the road's rhythm keeps you steady. Then, a shadow Musa figure by the roadside, thumb out, illuminated by your headlights. You slow, cautious. Hitchhikers are rare this early, especially out here. He's an older guy, weathered jacket, eyes glinting like he knows the road better than you. Against your better judgment, you pull over, and he climbs in, smelling of tobacco and dust. His voice, gravelly, spins a tale of Montana's forgotten freight legends, and you're hooked. In the 1890s, Butte was a mining boomtown, its copper fueling America's industrial surge, with freight wagons hauling or down these same routes before trucks took over. Drivers here share a quirky story. A ghostly teamster named Cal said to hitch rides on I-90, telling tales of lost shipments that vanish into the hills. Your passenger's story feels eerily similar, recounting a freight run in 47 where a whole load of copper disappeared, driver and all. You glance at him, half smiling, and mutter, "You, Cal." He just chuckles. Historians still argue whether these lost shipments were bandit jobs or accidents blamed on cursed routes, but his words, heavy with detail, make you wonder if he was there. He talks of old freight trails, how drivers marked paths with stones to avoid getting lost in blizzards. You think of your rituals from Section 12 tapping the wheel. Rusty's photo and feel a kinship with those early haulers. Your passenger points to a ridge, saying, "That's where they found the wagon, empty as a promise." You smirk. Eyes got away with words. The clock reads 7:34 a.m., the sky now a soft gold. You recall the Crow Reservation's hoofbeats from Section 8, how the land holds stories, and this guy's tale feels like another layer. He describes a driver who swore his loads sang, a metallic hum like the highway's pulse. You feel it now, vibrating through the cab. The road dips, but skyline sharper now, smokestacks looming like ghosts of the boom days. You remember that diner from Section 7, Darlene's Pancakes, and wish you had some to offer this guy. He's quiet now, staring out at the hills, then says, "Some loads don't want to be delivered." You laugh softly. Great. Now you're hauling philosophy. But his story sticks, like the river's rumble from Section 11, blending with the night's strangeness. You pass a sign for a rest area, and he asks to stop. You pull over, and he hops out, tipping his hat. "Keep the road," he says, and you nod, thinking of Gus's clear roads whisper from Section 12. You pull back onto I-90, glancing in your mirror, but he's gone too quick. like those ghostly deer from Section 9. You shake your head, muttering, "Nice exit, pal." The highway's hum is louder now, sensing with the sunrise's glow. You wonder if Cal, or whoever he was, left a piece of the road story with you. The freight, legends lost loads, singing copper feel alive, woven into the asphalt. You tap Rusty's photo, a ritual to ground you, and roll on. The morning light softening the world as butts edges draw you closer. Painting the hills in soft golds and pinks. The highway's hum is a gentle constant, blending with your rig's low growl, and the air through your window carries the crisp scent of dew and pine. That hitchhiker's freight stories from the last stretch linger, his gravelly voice echoing like a song you can't shake. The dawn feels like a reward after the long night, its light softening the world's edges, making the mountains look like they're exhaling. You are headed toward Missoula, the final leg of this haul, and the road feels quieter, as if it's settling down with the rising sun. In the early 1900s, this stretch of I-90 followed paths carved by their wagons creaking under the weight of new lives. These routes connected Montana's frontier towns, carrying hope and hardship in equal measure. Truckers have a quirky tale about dawn on this highway. They say the first light sometimes reveals ghost signs, faded billboards from old motels or gas stations that appear only at sunrise, then vanish. You squint at the roadside, half hoping to spot one, and chuckle, probably just shadows. But Montana's got you chasing more. Historians still argue whether these sightings are tricks of light on weathered paint, or something tied to the land's memory. But the dawn's glow makes you a believer, just for a moment. You pass a rusted fence, its posts leaning like tired sentinels, and spot a faint outliner sign, maybe for a long-gone diner. It's gone when you blink, and you mutter, "All right, road, you win." The memory of that diner from Section 7, Darlene's Pancakes, feels like a warm echo, grounding you as the sunrise paints the sky. Your clock reads 8:16 a.m., and the world's waking up. Distant farm lights flicker. A lone pickup passes with a wave. You think of your rookie days from Section 4, how dawn felt like a victory back then, prove you survived the night. Now, it's a quiet friend, easing the miles. The road curves gently, and you spot a hawk gliding low, its wings catching the sun's first rays. You smile, nature's showing off. You remember the hitchhiker story from Section 13, about loads that don't want to be delivered, and wonder if the road itself decides what you see. A driver named Ellie met at a Bozeman truck stop, swore she saw a neon sign at dawn that read "Keep going," only to find nothing when she doubled back. You laugh softly. If the road's giving advice, it better cover your fuel costs. The thought pulls you back to your rituals from Section 12, tapping Rusty's photo on the dash, a small act to anchor you. A mile marker glints, its number blurred by dust, and you feel the highway's hum deepen, like it's singing with the sunrise. The landscape opens up, fields stretching wide, their colors vivid in the morning light. You think of the Crow Reservation from Section 8, its star stories guiding travelers, and wonder if dawn's light is its own kind of map. The ghost signs, if they're real, feel like whispers from the road's past, nodding to the homesteaders who rolled through. You tap the wheel, a habit from Section 12, and let the dawn's gentle arrival wrap around you, the hum carrying you toward Missoula as the world wakes in soft, soothing hues. You're gliding toward Missoula now, I-90 a smooth ribbon under your tires, the Montana sunrise blooming fully, washing the sky in hues of coral and lavender. The highway's hum is softer, almost a whisper, blending with the gentle creak of your rig as you settle into the final mile. The air through your window is cool, carrying the scent of wet grass and distant cedar, and the world feels calm, like it's exhaling after the long night. Those ghost signs from the last stretch linger in your mind, their fleeting shapes a quiet farewell from the road. You're tired, but the dawn's light and the hum's steady pulse keep you anchored, pulling you toward the end of this haul with a dreamlike ease. In the 1920s, Missoula was a hub for early truckers, hauling timber and supplies through these valleys, their roots laying the groundwork for today's I-90. The town's history is etched in its bridges, some still standing from those days, their iron frames a testament to the grind. Truckers share a quirky tale. On this final stretch, the highway sometimes sings a last note, a vibration that feels like the road thanking you for the journey. You feel it now, a subtle thrum in your hands, and smile. Maybe it's just your tires, but it's nice to think otherwise. Historians still argue whether this sensation is caused by unique asphalt mixes or just the poetry of exhausted drivers, but out here, it feels like a gift. You pass a sign from Missoula, its letters crisp in the morning light, and think of all the stories you've carried, those ghostly CB whispers from Section 2, the diner's creaky stool from Section 7, the hitchhiker's freight tailies from Section 13. They weave together, like the road's hum, into a tapestry of the night. Your dashboard clock reads 8:52 a.m., and you tap Rusty's photo, a ritual from Section 12, feeling a quiet pride for making it through. You chuckle softly, survived another haul. No ghost, deer, or phantom wagons needed. The road dips, and you spot the Clark Fork River, its waters glinting like liquid gold in the sunrise. You remember Gus, your trainer from Section 4, his gruff advice about letting the road lead. It'll talk if you listen, he'd say, and you get it now, with the hum and the dawn wrapping around you. A driver named Tess, met in Butte, once said she felt the road hug her rig on this stretch, like it was saying goodbye. Eula fifth, the highway's hugging, it better not scratch your paint. The hills soften, Missoula's skyline peeking through, and you feel the journey's weight lifting, replaced by a calm that's almost heavy, pulling your eyelids down. As you near the city, the hum fades, the road quieting like it's ready to rest too. You think of the crow's star stories from Section 8, how they guided travelers, and feel like this dawn's been your guide, gentle and sure. The world's awake now, cars pass, a jog away spot. You're still in that in-between, where the road's yours alone. The horizon glows, a soft wash of light that feels like a promise kept. You ease off the gas, your rig settling as Missoula's edges draw near. The hum's gone now, leaving only the sound of your breath, slow and steady, and the faint creak of the cab. The night stories, the trading posts, pebbles, the river's rumble, the hitchhiker's voice fade into a gentle haze, like mist burning off in the sun. You're safe, you're here, the road's carried you through. Let your eyes drift, let the dawn's warmth wrap you, its colors blurring into a dream. Sleep's close, a soft pull, like the highway's final whisper, guiding you to rest.